Johnny Depp seems to live in the characters our childhood memories are made of.
You will always remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
He not only brought a Disney theme ride to life, but Depp also embodied the Mad Hatter.
I'd know him anywhere. Wasn't that just magnificent?
And Willy Wonka.
I was worried he was getting a little dodgy in the middle part, but then that finale, wow.
But his latest role may be the most familiar character he's ever taken on.
We jump.
What about the passengers?
They jump.
He plays Tonto in Disney's The Lone Ranger, out this week.
Going somewhere?
Yes.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, we are not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Shut up!
Yes.
How tough a role was it to play compared to everything else you've done?
Whatever you're approaching has some kind of, tightrope element.
You like it if it's a bit dangerous?
I think if you don't feel that, if you don't feel some kind of, not fear necessarily, but the possibility of just falling flat on your face, I think you must challenge that.
And challenge he did. Tonto's bird on the head look was all Depp's creation. He was inspired by this American painting called I Am Crow. Director Gore Verbinski loved the look, bird and all. But getting the Lone Ranger to ride again would prove to be no easy task.
He was shot in the head 4 times and dead a few times. And I mean, Jerry
It was very dead.
was unbelievable. Jerry got down and on his hands and knees and resuscitated this beast.
The Jerry he's talking about is producer Jerry Bruckheimer, a lifelong fan of Westerns.
I got pictures of me with a cowboy hat on and 6 guns and breeches and a vest, and so I was into the whole cowboy thing.
He was sold, and Disney was too.
He will protect you.
But this Lone Ranger tale is told from Tonto's perspective instead.
You want me to wear a mask?
The men you seek think you are dead, Kimosabe. Better to stay that way.
We created a much different character than you saw initially. And
Was that a conscious choice?
Absolutely. Tonto was the servant of the Lone Ranger. It's yes, sir. It's not that now. I mean, Tonto has his own demons and his own story to tell in this.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger.
It's been 80 years since Tonto and the Lone Ranger first galloped onto the airwaves to the William Tell Overture. It first aired on Detroit radio station WXYZ with Brace Beamer as the masked man's voice through most of the Depression. Nearly 3,000 episodes in all. But then came TV.
There. It fits perfectly.
Actor Clayton Moore became synonymous with the Lone Ranger, saddling up next to Jay Silverheels as Tonto.
All right, let's go.
Together, from 1949 until 1957, they brought truth and justice to the Old West.
We're certainly indebted to you and your Indian friend here.
But they also raised a few eyebrows from generations of Native Americans.
That's right. Me, Tonto.
Although Tonto's character wasn't as racially insensitive as some other characters at the time, Paley Center historian David Bushman says Tonto was hardly his own man.
Clearly, Tonto is a character who was subservient to the Lone Ranger. No question about who's in charge.
Well, you'd better get on to town.
That, combined with Tonto's broken English,
Me go now.
did much to reinforce the negative stereotype of Native Americans in Hollywood.
Ames talks strong, but Sheriff talks stronger.
Bill Cosby has a great routine where he makes this big joke about how the Lone Ranger was always sending Tonto into town to go get supplies or go get information, and every time Tonto would go in there, he would get beat up.
I'd always holler in the radio, Tonto, don't go to town. They're gonna beat you up again, man. Just one time. Tonto, yes, Kimosabe, you go to town. You go to hell, Kimosabe.
Depp admits his portrayal isn't absent all the stereotypes, but he has tried to change the tone.
I was always very uncomfortable with the idea that Tonto was given sort of instructions, and sent off.
He wasn't an equal.
Go get me the paper, go get me a cup of tea, whatever, that kind of. The Lone Ranger's a nice guy, but what? How come he's treating the other guy like lesser?
If we ride together, it's to bring these men to justice in a court of law. Is that understood?
The Lone Ranger is played by Armie Hammer, a little less bossy, but just as squeaky clean.
Justice is what I seek, Kimosabe.
That's where we shot the Comanche village scene where Johnny...
Hammer is too young to remember the original Lone Ranger series, but his dad made sure he watched it in reruns.
He'd say, Armie, get in here, watch this. Okay, now this is Butch Cavendish, this is Lone Ranger, that's Tonto, this is Horse Silver, you know, the whole thing, so...
So what'd your dad think when you got this part?
He was thrilled. I mean, obviously just thrilled.
Hi-ho, Silver, away!
Even Silver, the Lone Ranger's famous white steed, has found an updated voice.
Okay, don't come. See if I care.
Do you have to say hi-ho Silver to get him to do anything?
No.
You really don't?
No. Go on.
He's as smart as he is white. His trainer, Bobby Lovegreen, showed us he's pretty handy if you happen to lose your hat.
Thank you, Silver.
There we go.
Thank you. You gonna let me have it? Can I have the hat? Because I really want to put the hat on my head now. Because, yeah. Thanks, Silver. In the end, the new Lone Ranger is as much about the sidekick as it is the hero. Johnny Depp knows his portrayal is still likely to draw criticism. Despite his recent revelation, he may actually be part Indian himself.
There's either Cherokee or Chickasaw or Creek or something from that.
Did that inform the way you played the character at all?
Of course, but only in this, I mean, not like for me thinking as, you know, a Native American necessarily, but just thinking, you know, approaching it with my respect and my want and hope to present them in a light that maybe hasn't been presented before.
Justice, Hollywood style.